There are things an Igbo man can forgive. There are things he can bury. There are things he can pretend never happened. But there are some things even the gods are not willing to forget. In some communities, there is an old belief whispered from one generation to another. When a married woman sleeps with another man, something terrible may follow. Some say the first son could die. Others say the husband could be the one claimed. And when such a thing happens, the family may seek omenala, the traditional rites believed to cleanse the offense and avert the consequences. But what happens when the woman does not offend the marriage once? What happens when she does it again, and again, and again? This is the story of a man who discovered that sometimes the greatest battle in a marriage is not between husband and wife. It is between truth and secrecy. Chapter 1. The woman everyone trusted. Her name was Amarachi. She came from a part of Igboland that many people proudly described as a place where women were raised to understand marriage. Her family was respected. Her upbringing was praised. Amarachi carried herself like a woman who had been taught the sacred rules of marriage. Her husband Chukwudi was an Ozo title holder, a respected man, quiet, traditional. A man who believed marriage was not merely between two people, but between families, ancestors, children, and the community. Chukwudi was also an orphan. He grew up alone. No brothers, no sisters, no father waiting at the gate, no mother calling his name from the kitchen. When he married Amarachi, he believed he had finally found his family. He was wrong. He simply did not know it yet. Chapter 2. The Barber. The first secret began with a barber. Nothing about the day looked unusual. Amarachi went to get her hair done. The barber was friendly. They talked. They laughed. One conversation became another. And eventually, a boundary that should never have been crossed disappeared. But Amarachi later insisted that the barber had not fully slept with her. Still, something had happened. Something intimate. Something she knew her husband would consider betrayal. And instead of confessing, she carried the secret home. She smiled at her husband. She cooked. She slept beside him. And every night she listened to his breathing while carrying a secret that could destroy everything. But that was only the beginning. Chapter 3. The Apprentice. There was a young apprentice working around her husband's business. His name was Emeka. He was trusted. He was practically part of the household. And Amarachi crossed another boundary with him. They kissed. The relationship became increasingly inappropriate until one day Chukwudi discovered what was happening. The house went silent. He looked at Emeka, then at his wife. For several seconds, nobody spoke. Finally, Chukwudi told Emeka to leave. He sent him away. But he did not tell his family. He did not want the shame. He did not want gossip. He did not want his family's name dragged through the village. Instead, he went quietly to perform omenala, seeking traditional cleansing and protection. He returned home carrying his pain alone, and Amarachi promised him it would never happen again. But promises mean nothing when the heart has already learned how to hide.
Chapter 4. The Seminarian. Then came the seminarian, a man people believed should have been different, a man preparing for a religious life, a man who was supposed to understand boundaries. Yet Chukwudi began noticing something strange. Whenever he returned home, the seminarian was there, sometimes outside, sometimes inside, always too close to his wife. At first, Chukwudi told himself he was imagining things. Then one evening, suspicion became evidence. He picked up his wife's phone, and there it was, a message from the seminarian. The words, "My love." Chukwudi stared at the screen. His hands became cold. Then he discovered she had been sending the man money. Something inside him broke. He went looking for the seminarian. When the man saw him, he began begging, "Please forgive me. It was the devil. Please." Chukwudi stared at him. His voice was quiet, almost frighteningly quiet. He said, "Stay away from my wife." The seminarian promised, but Chukwudi no longer knew which promises to believe.
Chapter 5. Am I not enough? That night, Chukwudi confronted Amarachi. His anger exploded. He demanded to know, is there something wrong with me? Why? Why do you keep looking outside this marriage? Amarachi said he was not romantic enough. Chukwudi laughed bitterly. Romantic? Do you know who I was before I met you? I was an only child. I had no friends growing up. I had nobody. I became used to being alone because I am an orphan. He pointed at himself. I give you everything I had. I give you the family I never had. Was that not enough? For the first time, Amarachi saw something beneath his anger. Pain. Deep pain. The kind of pain that had been waiting for years to be noticed. And Chukwudi forgave her. Again.
Chapter 6. The Million-Naira Bet. Then Amarachi received an opportunity for work in Lagos. Before she left, Chukwudi made her an unusual offer. He smiled. "If you go to Lagos and you do not cheat on me, I will give you 1,000,000 naira. Amarachi laughed. "So this is a bet?" "Yes." "Deal." She left for Lagos. For the first time, Chukwudi believed maybe distance would change things. Then his phone rang. It was Amarachi. Chukwudi answered. "How was Lagos?" Silence. Then she said, "About our bet." His heart sank. She confessed. She had kissed another man. The man had bought her a meat pie. She kissed him before pushing him away. The man apologized. And Chukwudi said something that surprised her. "I am glad you told me. Is it not better that you told me?" But after the call ended, he sat alone. The 1,000,000 naira suddenly meant nothing. He had been willing to pay her not to betray him. But what he really wanted could never be bought. Loyalty.
Chapter 7.
The second appeasement. Chukwudi told almost nobody. Only Amarachi's elder sister eventually learned the truth. Then he returned again to the traditional rites. Again he sought Omenala. Again he carried the burden quietly. But this time something had changed. The secret was no longer between husband and wife. It was becoming a wound inside the entire family. And when Amarachi returned from Lagos, Chukwudi discovered something worse. Her family had begun saying things about him. That he was not a good husband. That he was not romantic. That once Amarachi finished university, she should leave him. Chukwudi heard the words, and something snapped. Chapter 8. The village hears the secret. The community eventually became involved after another violent confrontation. Human rights representatives intervened, and for the first time, Chukwudi stopped protecting the secret. He told them everything. The room became silent. The barber, the apprentice, the seminarian, the messages, the money, the Lagos incident, the repeated forgiveness, the traditional rites. One by one, the secrets came out. People stared at Amarachi. Nobody expected it. After all, was she not from the place everyone said produced the best wives? But Chukwudi stopped them. This is not about where she comes from, he said. This is about what happened inside my marriage. They asked him, "Do you want to end the marriage?" Everyone waited. Chukwudi looked at his wife. "I do not. I want my marriage. But I have conditions. Her sisters must stop interfering. She must stop bringing other men into our home. And I must stop destroying myself because of what she has done." The room fell silent. Chapter 9. The thing Chukwudi feared. That night, Chukwudi returned home alone. The house was quiet, too quiet. He walked into the bedroom. Amarachi was asleep. He sat on the edge of the bed, and suddenly he heard something. A whisper, not from his wife, not from outside, from somewhere inside the room. A voice said, "You performed the rites." Chukwudi froze. The voice continued, "But did she confess everything?" He turned around. Nobody was there. His breathing became heavy. Then his phone rang. An unknown number. He answered. Silence. Then a man's voice whispered, "Chukwudi, your wife has not told you everything." The line went dead. Chukwudi stared at Amarachi. For years he had believed the greatest danger was another man. He was wrong. The greatest danger was the secret she had not yet confessed. In every village, there are stories people tell children to frighten them. But some stories are not told to frighten children. They are told to warn adults. Because marriage can survive poverty. It can survive hardship. It can survive loneliness. But betrayal leaves a door open. And once that door is opened, nobody knows what will walk through it. Chukwudi had performed the rites. He had forgiven. He had remained silent. He had protected his wife's reputation. But there was one question he could not answer. How many times can a man bury a secret before the secret begins to bury him? The village falls silent. Then, from somewhere in the darkness, 3 slow knocks. Knock, knock, knock. Some taboos are not feared because we understand them. They are feared because our ancestors warned us not to test them.